Folks, just going to keep the voice low because it's a bit sore, but let's do the quick review, and we've got 3 parts to this, of the new GGZII patch. So the idea behind the extra poke damage, meaning you can shoot them from a bit more distance and do a bit more damage, and less gib range, meaning the distance it takes to blow somebody up. I have been an advocate of this for quite a long time. I think that having a small gib range promotes less gambling, in the sense that all of a sudden you're not dancing around this pixel perfect line of can I gib him, can I not. Everybody will eventually know the gun has to be really close into them and it will blow them up. And if it's not really close into them, and if you're not sure you can get the gun really close into them without risking dying, you're better to play for poke damage. Sometimes you might be forced into an aggressive play because of the situation, and you might have to gamble, get in close and try body him, but that's just been the way Gears has been since 2006. Small gib range, bit of decent poke, opportunities to push, should I not push, should I risk the gib, should I try outplay strafe, should I throw in the odd wall bounce. That's how it's been for the longest time. So I was getting a bit frustrated because the gib range was so big that it felt like the whole extended shotgun fights were just gone. It was just sprint in, blow up. A few like weeks later or months or whatever we're in now, GGZII has decided to lower that gib range. Now as we head on to Twitter, and I've got a few memes prepared, I will just start this video with giving a piece of feedback from the community. As you know, our community is very good at dealing with these issues. They speak clearly and with clarity. They often give video evidence, pausing to expand on their point, giving a little bit of evidence. So we'll take a look at some of the wonderful feedback we've received from this patch, and then I will show some gameplay and chat over whether I feel the patch is good, bad, what needs changing, what are just my overall thoughts. Last night I finally realised I was insane. Why, you might ask? Well, the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. And that is what I was doing with this Nasher. After the umpteenth time dying to a one-shot from the exact distance that I fired first and did damage in the range of 10% to 97%, after firing numerous pokes at an opponent, 3 or 4, only to get blown up, and showing that I did either 0 or 10 to 40% damage. I know they connected, you could hear the audio cues. After trying to hip fire, pop shots, aiming down sights, with none really making a difference. And I said, finally, yes, I am going insane. So, with that being said, I decided I would now chainsaw only for my close quarters combat. Sadly, it was more effective. Maybe, just maybe, somebody at TC will finally address why this continues to be an ongoing issue. But I'm not going to hold my breath. It would be greatly appreciated to get some honesty and transparency. Now, let's play the associated clip. What got this man so irate? What got him so frustrated? Let's roll the clip. Let's have a rewind here, and let's have a real look at what exactly happened. Maybe he's not sure what happened, but as you can see here, your gun is completely missing the player. So all these video evidences we keep getting of I shot and he's gone through him, I tanked it and it's gone through. Please look at your clip and just before you submit it, just think to yourself, did I actually miss? Did the game break? Or, you know, was there a bug? Because every time I check this feedback, there are so many stupid posts. I raged over 9,000. All of my movements were clunky. I couldn't strafe and I couldn't hip fire, and my accuracy was maybe 10%. Although my mouse is top notch and I play in a high DPI smoothly. Why is playing in a high DPI smoothly got anything to do with your ability to play the game and hit shots? And this is the main issue. Most of the people left playing the game seem to be from the Gears 4 and 5 era, and these people seem to be the most vocal. These ones that shoot 96% and don't die, these are the ones that laugh in emoji. These are the ones that think that the game's incredibly broken and bad. You're sort of shooting across a massive block, a massive thick square block, and the guy, the bird, hasn't even hit the cover. And you're shooting him, expecting him to be blown up. The fact that you're expecting that player to be blown up just goes to show how far the franchise has changed. People like this just made me laugh. I just kept this in because it just made me laugh. That's the crap right there I've been dealing with. KRAP. That's the crap. So this is what I mean. This is what people do. People talk about this all day on forums and all day on Twitter. I shot this guy and he didn't die. When you sign in and you see a post like this with a lot of likes, 7,000, 8,000 views telling us, hey, don't play Gears 5 tonight, the game's broken. He's saying the game's broken because he's still alive and he's expecting to be blown up from that distance. This is quite a big distance. From gun to gun is where they shoot, and then it's obviously going to have to like connect with the body somewhere here. It's probably going to connect. And who can step in, who can step back and try and blow the person up? What TC have tried to do with this update is basically make the gib range a bit smaller, ever so slightly smaller. What the developer to me is trying to say is, listen, maybe if you're not sure you can get in this gap range here, maybe it's best just to pull back a little bit, land some extra shots, rather than stepping into this range and trying to guess this gib range. For example, this was probably like the older gib range, right? Now it's been brought in ever so slightly, and they're trying to say, listen, if you can't get up close and personal, if you can't get in this wavy line of gib range, you're probably best to play for poke damage. So what they did is they increased the damage on the shotgun, and that was the idea behind the update in my eyes. As you can see in this clip, this is the clip that are getting people frustrated. And to be honest, I'm not really seeing what the issue is. This shot here, okay, is going to do no damage because he's pretty much across the map in his first shot. He's here and the player is here. He's a long distance away, and he's landing him here and he's shooting here. So again, he's all the way on this block and he's shooting all the way to this man on this block, a pretty decent distance. He's probably put a few points of damage on him. So now it's his chance to either go wide and land the extra shots because he's now hitting first, or sit back. So let's see what he does. So he doesn't go wide. In fact, he goes to go wide and pulls back and misses a shot. Now he's given the Locust the advantage. This cog is in no cover, and now the Locust is in cover and has the advantage. So he tries to go wide and he hits a semi shot. He clips about 3 pellets onto him. And bear in mind, time has happened during this process, and the player will have regenerated a little bit of life. 2, again, only landing really half his bullets. Most you can see here, there's like dust is hitting this concrete block. So what he could choose to do is step backwards and land the 3rd killing shot on him. Maybe he chooses to do that. He doesn't. He slides and wall bounces again. And then because he's slid and wall bounced, he then has to turn. And by the time he's turned, the Locust has taken the aggressive point of view. And he's decided, I'm going to push you. And the Locust has decided, you've given up the wide advantage. And you've chose to go into an animation. The second he goes into an animation, the Locust pushes. And then the cog's trapped and he gets blown up. Now I don't see anything wrong with that clip. The game is worse than Destiny. The game is one of the worst games to exist because it doesn't register. Bullets go through people. He says he hits this guy twice and then the bullets go through him and he dies and the game's trash. So let's just rewatch this clip. Twitter video at the exact frame, but you can see just before this man shoots, he's ever so slightly just left of his body, and then there's going to be a frame that I can't pause on, and then he's going to connect just below his neck, you saw there, and he gets a hit marker. Next, we're going to look at this one. Just before he shoots, this is his cursor here. If you can't see, it's just about here on the video. Now, if we move it forward a frame, and I can't really, he's ever so slightly to the guy's left. It's really hard to show, but he's ever so slightly to the player's left. He's sort of flicking it. Now he slides. That could miss. Now he's behind him and he hasn't shot. And again, I'm not seeing the issue there. 2 times and liked 107 times. People saying that the update is trash. People laughing saying you missed. Well, let's take a look at this bad fight, this game-breaking bug. Starts off wall bouncing, air hopping, lands a chunk. So this is what happens, okay? He's air hopping, sort of reaction shots him again, maybe even more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pellets. So he lands pretty much all his pellets. It's a pretty big chunk, but remember, he has shot him from a pretty large distance. He's shooting from sort of here, where I am, all the way to the player here. You're sort of entering into just maybe beginning to enter into that 2-shot down era, but probably still a little bit far away. And it's very hard to see if bullets connect or not. There are maybe 1 or 2 is going to be full red. Full red or pretty close to being full red, I would imagine. He misses that shot. He misses that shot. And then I think someone downs him and he rolls away. Now he's into the gib range. He has a choice now. Does he want to gamble on this gib range? Okay, does he want to gamble on this gib here with his gun aiming to this guy? Is that what he wants to gamble on? He can't really go back out of this situation because there's another locust pushing him. So he probably does have to gamble on the gib range. He sort of flicks his shotgun as he hits the wall and he lands basically every pellet on the guy. Now, he doesn't die. But remember, the gib range has been lowered because they're trying to avoid these gamble one-shots. What happens, and what happened in the older Gears games, is that would happen all the time. This would not be a rare occurrence. If you went for this one-shot here and wall bounce like that, sometimes you'd blow him up. Maybe the character stepped into you, maybe you just did a strong amount of damage, good connection, whatever it may be. But a lot of the times you'd shoot like this and then the fight continues, and now we've got the start of an extended shotgun fight. Now unfortunately, because there's 2, the locust from the doorway pushes this guy and kills him. But that's what we're talking about. This will, when people get used to it in my eyes, start extended shotgun battles. Now people are going to hate that. They're saying, oh, point blanked him. But that's honestly, you've got used to a gib range that's just far too big. That's all it is. When you slide like that and you shoot from that distance, that might not seem like a big distance, but it still is a fairly hefty distance away from each other. If that's guaranteeing a kill every single time, it's going to become very monotonous playstyle of running, gib, running, gib, running, gib. And I don't think that's very fun gameplay. This is what he's saying. If you don't think this is a chunk, you're lost. Well, maybe I'm lost then, mate. Because in my eyes, if I'm playing Gears 1, I don't expect ever. And that's the difference. I don't ever expect to get a chunk in Gears 1. You just play for shots, occasionally go in for a gib. And sometimes they blow up and sometimes you don't. People have just got used to this massive gib range. Now, there is arguments for balancing the game in a different way. But again, we have like coaches saying this update is the opposite of what was requested. Close range is a coin flip. That's always the issue. But that is always the issue. Your playstyle shouldn't be running and one-shot 4 people in a row. That's just not interesting gameplay to me. It should be landing multiple shots. Now we can talk about the fact that there's not enough bullets in the shotgun to maybe play for shots. Maybe the gib range stops us pushing Lancer users because they can Lancer and then as a result they can melee you down. Because in this game you can melee and Lancer at the same time. Maybe that's a problem. But this is a process. Remember, Strangulate, who works for Gears, the speed boost out of the cover hasn't been patched in yet. So what this means is people are still up a speed boost in, with basically no momentum going in. Eventually, when that is patched, people won't be able to push up a you from a standing start and get that speed boost. Now, again, we're going to play some gameplay and I'll chat about how I feel it went. But we have these posts. I'm not digging this update. TC Octa's asking for feedback. I'm not digging the update. It feels a lot harder to get kills. Well, isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we want? People to work for their kills? We have competitive GGZII tweeting, TC are not changing the things most players want. Clown emoji. Has anybody seen a regional? Listen, How can you have a regional event when nobody even plays the game? You've got to work on the basics. The level of delusion from the pro players that everything needs to be competitive and there needs to be this thriving esports scene, it's not. Your game is not League of Legends, you're not StarCraft, you're not Dota, you're not Counter-Strike. Your game is a very, very, very small underground game. That's the reality of it. Yeah, it's a very tough scene to get into, and I can understand why this scene hasn't grown. And just to be shouting out all of these videos and all of these tweets and saying, the game's bad, it needs fixing, it's awful, it's this, it's that, I'm kind of like, whew, like, let's just take a step back. Let's build the game up on a foundational level, if that's even a word. Let's build the foundation up. And then maybe you get an esports. But you don't get an esports by just sort of asking for an esports. It's gotta naturally grow. It's not gonna naturally grow if the regular users aren't playing the game, and it's not gonna naturally grow if there's issues like crashing, there's issues like lag, wrong server been selected, major bugs, those type of things. But signing in and tweeting scrim, give me a scrim, give me a scrim, that doesn't mean the game's like esports ready and needs tournaments just because a few people scrim on it. So let's jump into the game. I know I got way off topic, but this is a long form channel and I like to give my opinion. So now that we've spoke about some video clips and some general chat, let's play the game and let's figure out, is it any good? Listen, there are plenty of issues with the game. Loads and loads of issues with the game that I'm not even gonna go into in this video. Stuff like when I loaded in, I crashed. When I loaded in, I got kicked out of every single game. Every game I played was on the wrong server. There was 2 games I played on the correct server. Is that because there's a low population and I was playing late at night, or was it because the game was malfunctioning and putting me on the wrong server? We don't know. So when I talk about balance in this video, and when I go ahead and I go on to talk about some clips and pro players and tweets, I want you to know that all of that is pretty much irrelevant. What really matters is the core game does still need to be improved, and in my next video I'm going to try chat about that. But just to keep this video, I guess, topical and on title, I will be primarily speaking about the gib range. So I figured, rather than sort of me play clips and sort of, I guess, just sort of highlight certain things, I figured I'd play a full game for you and just upload it and like talk over it, because if you're not playing Gears 5, you're not really going to get a sense of the game if you don't watch a full game. If I just post some clips, you're not really going to get it. So bear in mind, in this game, this is my first match in a good few months playing. I've been playing other games, Path of Exile, I've been doing a bit of Resident Evil, all kinds of different games. So I haven't really played a lot, and I'm not shooting very well. Also, in this game, I'm trying to basically poke with my shotgun from a bit of distance, which I never do. That's not really my playstyle. And I'm trying to sort of test the gib range out. So sometimes I'm kind of letting myself get pushed, and sometimes, I'm dying because of it. But I'm trying to just kind of show you how the game's going. So for those that don't know, the gib range has been changed. It's been lowered. It's been lowered from a certain X amount of distance where you can be basically blown up from a decent distance to be lowered, meaning you've got to get a little bit closer to blow the person up. There are a few knock-on effects because the gib range has been slightly lowered. When you are getting rifled and you push somebody, occasionally where you might just get in gib range and blow them up, now you're not in gib range and you do get downed. Also, because a Lancer player can knife, unlike in, say, Gears 1, because a Lancer player can knife you and it holding B doesn't chainsaw, it means that player can rifle you and then kill you with a melee, whereas previously, if you closed the gap, they would then rev their chainsaw and then you could stun them. Or they'd have to swap to a different gun to melee you down. So there is that to factor in. So there are little knock-on effects that maybe could be looked at. I mean, obviously the core gameplay is still Gears 5. What I mean by that is, how do I word it? It's fast, isn't it? It's fast. The animations are kind of hard to read. It's a pretty bright, colourful game. Like, none of that's really going to change because of a gib range. That's what I mean. Yeah, there's loads of core things that could get looked at. Tour duty, the shop, etc, etc. But the main thing for this video is the gib. I'm just going to cough because I've got a sore throat. That's kind of why I'm talking a little quieter than normal. I'll explain how it went. So the first hour of the game was me sort of getting used to shooting again. The second hour I was trying to really test out how big the gib range was. The third hour I got a little bit more into the game. With these updates, you're going to have to take time to get used to them because it is changing how the game like fundamentally plays. You can see here I'm like keeping my shotgun out a lot. Normally I'd Lancer, to be completely honest, on Gears 5. I think it's like incredibly strong on PC. Normally I'd pistol as well. But for this video we're trying to keep it with the shotgun, the OG gold shotgun. I've kind of enjoyed the change. It's just when you're so ingrained into that, once you've learnt the gib range and then you start shooting people and they don't die, people are going to get frustrated because they think the game's not working. Probably one of the biggest, I guess you'd call it, like, downsides of being a console community is most people are super casual and they don't follow up and things. They don't read patch notes. They don't, you know, like a PC player, if they play like League, they're always looking at patch notes. They've got alt tab, you know, build guides and all this kind of stuff. A console player, for the most part, now some of them are a little bit more hardcore, but for the most part, they're not keeping up to date with everything. So when they shoot and the guy doesn't blow up, they probably just think the game's broken. What would have been good is when you signed in, it told you, and you had to press A to confirm, hey everybody, in this patch we have lowered the gib range, meaning you might have to get a bit closer to shoot people. Now you probably shouldn't have to do that because you do the what's up and you do the whole thing, but let's be honest, most people don't really read that and they just mindlessly go in and play. Now for me, playing this game, I will say that not much has changed, primarily because the game is very fast. It's very hard to lock somebody down. Does that make sense? It's very hard to, when I say lock somebody down, basically land one or two really good shots that forces them to move. One thing we spoke about on stream, because I played this on stream for a good few hours, was I guess the thing we came up with is it's very hard to like be the dictator of play in Gears 5. When you're shooting people, like when you're lancering like this, you can zone people, you can force people to move. Obviously, you've got an automatic rifle that does a lot of damage. When you then enter into shotgun range like this, it's very hard to force people into certain positions and get them to move around and control the fight. I guess we spoke a little bit about tempo and, yeah, again, about like pattern of play and rhythm. We spoke about rhythm now that it comes to mind to put into words. But when you're playing a game and you've played a game for a long amount of time, you do get into this rhythm and you do get used to how you play. Some people might be aggressive and they might bounce. Some people might, kind of like this playstyle, might sit back and chip away at people. Others might like back A, try and up A people. It really depends. Now this situation I actually die, but I think there, me hard aiming from a distance, and they were scared to push me, and there I was kind of controlling the fight, and I felt a bit more chip damage. in that situation. They were like, yeah, we can't push this guy because one more and I'm going down. So you can dictate the fight a bit, but what we were saying is you never really get into a rhythm. So in Gears 1 and maybe even Gears 2, you would have these players that you could tell who they were, not based on their character skin, but just based on how they played. If I played Kim or Carmine on Gears 1, my friend would be able to pick me out of a crowd and be like, that's GGZII, that's him playing, that's how he plays. But because the game's very fast, like this kind of situation, everybody wants to up A, everyone wants to run around corners at light speed and wall bounce and hyper bounce, and I even heard somebody yesterday call it the crack bounce, that kind of stuff. You never get into a flow and you never get into that rhythm, and I think that's one of the things that it frustrates like me and other players. Maybe if you played Gears 4 and 5 only, you don't really know what the hell I'm talking about. But there might be somebody out there that understands what I mean. You could see a player just based off their movement, who they were, and the reason that happened was because you could play like that every game. If somebody played really, really fast, but you were a slow player, you could still play, quote, slow and be sort of effective. If you were a really fast player, but somebody wanted to lance you and play slow, you could still be effective. But it feels like in Gears 5, you're not dictating the play and you're not dictating like the rhythm of your own play, you're reacting. So in say StarCraft, you have different races. Zerg is like the reactive race. They see what you're building and then counter it, right? That's kind of how it works. So that's kind of what it's like a little bit. It's kind of like Gears 5, you react to what the other person's doing because everything's so fast, like stuff like that. Just to note as well, I'm playing on I think I was on 140 ping, so I can't judge perfectly if the gib range is correct because it's hard, isn't it? There you see that guy tried to lance me and I had to confirm the kill by getting right up close in his face, and I'm okay with that. That was a real close gib. It wasn't like a super far away gib range. That one, I think I missed my shot again, 140 ping, and I felt like he maybe potentially missed due to aim assist, but who really knows what's going on when you play on this server. Overall, how would I rate the update? I would say that the update is again a step in the right direction, but you've got to understand, like situations like that where I get 59%, that's not bullshit. People will look at that and go, wow, you up-A'd and shot him and he didn't die, bullshit, but it's not. I just haven't got used to the gib range yet. I need to hold my shot a little better, and towards the end of this gameplay, I was kind of getting there, that sort of feeling down a little bit more. But early on, yeah, I just was sort of shooting a bit too early. Like that, he ends up going down because I got really up close to him. And I don't think it's bad. Now, is the game perfect? No. There's loads of issues and stuff that we've got to talk about. That we will sort of talk about. But it's like the way people were tweeting and the way people were making forum posts, when I signed into the game, I thought nothing was going to work. I didn't really notice my shotgun going through people. To be honest, again, I play on PC. Pretty much if your reticule isn't on the guy anyway, you're not aim assisting. Also, to note, this gameplay is played with aim assist turned completely off. So with a mouse and aim assist turned off, I always have to put it on them anyway, like perfectly on them, otherwise it's gonna miss anyway. There's basically like barely any like magnetism, adhesion, whatever the terminology is you want to use. Kind of like that. Kind of flicked him, not getting used to my sense. It's been a while, did 12%. So can you actually play for chip damage with the new update? I think it's a little better. I think as well though, I quite like the way they've done it, because that there, you know, that gib there to me is still massive, but that to me isn't the gib range, that's the up A move speed. And remember, the up A move speed hasn't been changed yet. There is another update coming where you can only get the up A boost movement speed if you go in with enough movement speed. God, I did that montage on Gears Dinner, and you drop it for 2 months and then you come back and you can't play. But that's what it's like. It's very... It's a stage game. That's what people aren't getting. When the up A move speed is changed, in the sense that you need to have momentum to just boost, the game might slow down, and then you might even be able to play for chip shots better. But everyone's saying spam revert when we haven't even really had the patch, hasn't been out a week. We haven't even played with the patch for a week. We haven't even sort of, had the up A speed removal on top of it. So that's an example of that Lancer we were talking about. On the old game, I would have gibbed him, and people will say that's bullshit. No, the gib range there wasn't bullshit. What was bullshit was the fact that because he was lancering me, he was allowed to melee and then kick me instantly. If he couldn't melee, I would have waited a millisecond longer and just got into the gib range and killed him. But because they can melee, I couldn't wait to get in melee range because I'd be going down, so I had to shoot. So that's where you've got to think about the issue. Is it a gib range issue, or is it something else? And you can't possibly tell how good or bad the game is based off like 1 day's play on 140 ping, 100 ping, or even decent ping. You need to play with it for a decent amount of time, wait for the up A change, and that goes for the boom shot. It's a process, isn't it? Now, should that process be quicker? Absolutely. Is it annoying that I have to wait for an up A speed boost? Is it annoying that there are no players? Is it annoying that I can't cross-play with Xbox even if I plug in a controller? Yep, all of these things are annoying. But what I will say about the game was, maybe not this first round, but the second round, I really did get into it. And I had a lot of extended shotgun fights. I'm not saying it was anything close to the Gears 1 heyday or anything like that. I'm just saying that it's slightly better. Is it game changing? No. Is it absolutely broken? No. You can see there, as long as if you get in someone's face, you're going to gib them. It's just probably people are so used to the Gears 4 and 5 gib range that they're just shooting way too early. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm wall bouncing like an idiot, it's because people in my chat were telling me to go montage mode, so I was kind of trolling and just wall bouncing like an absolute lunatic. Because that's me, that's the equivalent of me wall bouncing like a lunatic, because I never wall bounce, I just like to strafe and shoot. But that's kind of the update. Is it game changing? Not really. Is it improved? Yeah, in some aspects it is, in some aspects it isn't. But the idea that the game is like fundamentally broken because of this update is not true. I just don't think people are thinking about it correctly. There are loads of other factors that go into it, and again, it's a process. Should the process be quicker? Absolutely. But you can see, like there, if you wait, he gets up in your face and you shoot, you're gonna blow him up. You can see there, I blew that guy up from a fairly decent distance. It's just getting used to the game, and obviously as well, if I was playing on a less laggy server like 30 ping, I'd be able to judge it a lot better. But to be honest, the first couple of hours I wasn't having fun because I was just adjusting just to playing the game again and the lag. But once I was getting it a little better, it felt fine. If anything, it just the way I can explain it is, it was just Gears 5. That's what it was. It was just Gears 5. It hasn't changed the game in any crazy way. It hasn't broken the game in any crazy way. You can definitely play for shots a little bit more. And yeah, there are obviously loads of other issues that we don't need to talk about in this video that we can do. But yeah, I don't know, I just feel like people were just absolutely going off for no good reason on the gib range when really there's a whole load of other issues that are an actual problem, like crashing servers, game modes, too many playlists, this, that, whatever you want to go on about. But the idea that this gib range has ruined the game is just, I don't get it. Anyway, we'll skip it on right to the end here, because that's kind of where we ended. The score is 140 to 124. This was a 4v5, by the way, for all of the rounds, and we actually managed to win, and it had a pretty decent end to the game, so I thought I'd just keep the end of the game. But that's really it. If you've enjoyed the talks and the feedback, then if you want to support the content goal, you can do. There'll be a link in the description. That just helps. Basically, it's my way of doing Patreon. It's like saying if you enjoyed January to February's content, then you can support. I don't do a Patreon because that way you don't know what you're sort of giving money towards, whereas with a content goal you can see exactly the work that I've made, and if you've thought it's been of any use and you want to support it, you can do. Thanks to all the people as well that watched and subbed on Twitch and subbed on YouTube. We're almost at 10k, so if you're thinking like you want to subscribe, that'd be good. But you get in these situations where here, and I'm kind of like, that's kind of where I get a bit confused, because I kind of want to play for chip damage, but I can't really play for chip damage because I'm going to run out of bullets if I start shooting from that distance. I'm talking like bullets and actual ammunition. So I don't know, I think it's like I say, it's like a multi-layered thing. Probably there needs to be more bullets in the shotgun. When you reload, you always need to get full bullets, not just 3 like I did there. Because sometimes when you get pushed, you just don't have the active, and you just want to reload fully. This idea that it was an okay idea, but in practice, this whole reload and get 1, 3, fucking 6 bullets, whichever how many bullets you've got, I'm not that keen on it. I think that probably would be a good change, to be honest, is keep 6 shots, but next up the actual sort of ammo count, so you get more ammo in the shotgun, so you don't have to scavenge for ammo as much, and make it so when you reload / just default reload, you just get all the bullets. It's just needlessly convoluted. If you get pushed and you don't have an active and you reload, you don't have enough bullets, and then you have to reload again, and then you have to count your 6 shots. It just gets a bit silly. So that's probably what I would do. I would give the game a go. I think it's worth trying again with the lower gib range, and then I would say let's try fix the core issues, and then probably work on balance next, because without the core issues been solved, it doesn't matter how good the game is, nobody's going to play it. That's the reality, isn't it? So you need to fix the core issues and then work on the balance. But there was a nice little Quinn there to win the game. It's okay, give it a go. Let me know what you think in the comments below.